In my last video, I went over sinister sightings of the Fae, the fairy folk, as well as their possible connection to Missing 411, all the mysterious disappearances that happen throughout the world. Today I want to go over stories and evidence about tiny humans really existing. Not magical entities, but flesh and blood creatures. Almost every civilization has stories about little people, and it has been confirmed for some time now that little humans did actually exist on the island of Flores in Indonesia. And these ancient humans, they only stood about 3 feet tall, which is amazing. And there were also tiny animals on the island as well, like tiny elephants. Today, some people still believe that Homo floresiensis still exists, and I'll go over that a bit later in the video. But their confirmed existence makes me wonder, what if they at one time in history migrated to other places throughout the world? One thing I find shocking is that we've only found one almost complete skeleton. Then after this mind-blowing discovery, with a much bigger budget, along with worldwide attention, we have only found just a few other bits and pieces of bone here and there. So here we have a hominid that could have lived for millions of years, and we would have never known about them if it wasn't for this amazingly lucky discovery of this one skeleton. So just imagine how many more amazing life forms are just waiting to be discovered. And like I said before, almost every culture has stories about little people. Just last month I read an article that talked about how the Zulu of South Africa say that little people live right next to them, and they have for thousands of years. Now what I really want to cover today is about a discovery that happened in 1932 in the Pedro Mountains of Wyoming. One day 2 prospectors found what they believed to be a man-made cave after using dynamite to look for gold. In this cave they found something that really shocked them. They saw a tiny mummified human that was sitting down with its legs crossed. This mummy was only about 6 inches tall, 14 inches if it was standing up. And to their surprise, when they picked it up and actually looked at it, it looked like an old man, but he was so tiny. Now after this discovery, scientists came to Wyoming from all over to have a look at it. Most believed at first that it was a hoax, but nonetheless they wanted to see it for themselves. And they were shocked when the x-rays revealed that it was indeed a tiny human-like creature. These scientists estimated that this mummy, this man, lived to be about 60 to 65 years old. They also discovered that he died violently as there was a hole in his skull. Another odd feature was his teeth. All his teeth were pointy and sharp. He had a complete set of canine teeth. These examinations were allegedly performed by the American Museum of Natural History and then certified genuine by the head scientist of Harvard University. But then later, it was re-reported that it was nothing special, it was just a dead newborn baby. But many were suspicious because that's not what the initial experts said. And also, what about the full set of canine teeth? Babies don't have canine teeth. And this is around the exact same time period where a lot of those giant skeletons were found, but then never seen again. So even back in the 1930s, people were suspicious. Now the Native Americans had many legends about tiny people, but the Native American tribe that lives in this region where this mummy was found has a unique name for them, which I know I won't be able to pronounce, but it's spelled Nimerrigar. And in an article I just read while researching this video, it states that the natives say these little people kill their elders when they're sick or on their deathbed by a single blow to the head. And the initial reports from all these so-called experts did say that this 60-plus-year-old man had a hole in its skull. Interesting indeed. Now this mummy, shortly after it was discovered, spent a lot of time traveling the US in sideshows. But today, nobody knows where it is. The last owner died in 1980, but he never said what he did with it, making some to suspect that maybe it was stolen from him, or maybe he sold it. But if he sold it, why would the current owner not want anyone to know it was in his or her possession? Today, a lot of people are looking for the Pedro mummy. It would be awesome if we could test it again to find out the truth once and for all. There are other stories of farmers finding graves of tiny humans, or what they believed at the time to be an ancient Native American race of pygmies. In 1778 in Ohio, an article stated that a burial ground of a whole new race of pygmies was found. But there were no follow-ups. It was never proven or debunked. This story had just vanished. A mission that was close by this burial ground even stated that these pygmies used stone axes and were very skilled at pottery. But today, nobody knows where this pottery or these stone axes went. Then in 1876 in Tennessee, Another burial ground of little people were found. This article states, an ancient graveyard of vast proportions has been found in Coffee County. It's similar to those found in White County and other places in Tennessee, but is vastly more extensive and shows that this race of pygmies who once inhabited this country were very numerous. Another article states, some considerable excitement and curiosity took place a few days ago in Hillsborough, Coffee County. On James Brown's farm, a man was plowing in a field which has been cultivated for many years, found a man's skull and other bones. After making further examination, they found that there are about 6 acres in this graveyard. They were buried in a sitting or standing position. Their bones show that they were a dwarf race of people, about 3 feet high. It is estimated that there were about 75,000 to 100,000 buried there. Wow, that is a heck of a lot of people. So where did all these bones go? While I was trying to find more stories, I stumbled upon this article, and I'm amazed at how many pygmy burial grounds were found in the 1800s. But just like all the alleged giant skeletons found, nobody knows where these bones are today. Some Native American tribes still believe that these tiny people still exist. Some members of the Crow Nation still leave offerings for them when they pass through certain areas.
For years, stories have been passed down about Cherokee Little People.
As legend has it, they lived underground. News 13's Rex Hodge joins us from the Western News Center.
Rex, a local author, has a new book out about these little people. Does she believe they exist?
She does. Mary Joyce's book is called Cherokee Little People Were Real, and she says there's evidence to prove it, but others aren't so sure.
My giant curiosity. I mean, little people that nobody seemed to know about.
Mary Joyce started collecting notes more than a decade ago about legends of little people in our western mountains, finally putting out a book. Cherokee Little People Were Real.
They were here before the Cherokee.
She says the Cherokee came from the Great Lakes region thousands of years ago, arriving to find little people who lived underground.
Would tend their gardens at nighttime by the moonlight, and originally the Cherokee called them the Moon People.
And she says the Cherokee adopted them. Joyce bases much of her book on the recollections of 2 men who grew up hearing little people's stories, claiming to have seen evidence, including tunnels near older buildings at Western Carolina University, like the McKee Building, built in the 30s.
And these tunnels, I guess, were like a network.
Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.